Top 10 best horror movies on Netflix right now. Halloween may still be weeks away, but horror movies have no limit on enjoyment. As one of the most prolific and profitable subgenres in cinema, audiences are always in the mood for some spooky scaries. Hey guys, welcome to your entertainment channel Netflix Top, where we tell you about the top-rated movies and series on Netflix. So grab your popcorn and stay with us until the end of the video, because today's video is going to list down the top 10 best horror movies to watch on Netflix. So let's get started. Number 10. Sweetheart. It's Kiersey Clemens versus an aquatic monster. That's Sweetheart. J.D. Dillard's survival horror tale strands Clemens on a sandy tropical island that's stalked by a creature every night. Other survivors appear, the monster starts attacking, and Jen must ensure she stays alive long enough to get rescued. Nothing more worth saying than Sweetheart is as tense as advertised and fulfills all suspenseful hide-and-seek promises with spine-tingling chills thanks to Clemens' standout lead performance. We love simple horror concepts that deliver. Number 9. Choose or Die. Co-written and directed by Toby Meekins, Choose or Die stars Iola Evans as Kayla, a window-cleaning college dropout who stumbles into a world of digitized doom when she accidentally enters herself and her pal Isaac, Asa Butterfield, into the wicked world of Curse R, an 80s survival horror game that meshes into reality, forcing its players to make life-or-death decisions to reach the end of the terrifying campaign. Poking a lot of fun at the gaming subculture, Choose or Die delivers a Pandora's box of twisted tropes. And while it may be a bit much for some viewers, it's hard not to at least appreciate the imaginative world-building of Meekins and his fellow creatives. Number 8. Incantation. Here's a solid blast of found-footage madness for you and yours to enjoy. Incantation is co-written and directed by Kevin Ko and stars Tsai Hsuan-yen as Li Ronan, a desperate mother who is suffering the consequences of accidental desecration. Years before, Li violated a sacred Chen ritual, leading her newborn daughter to be cursed by an ancient deity. With time running out, Li must now do everything in her power to lift the hex from her child before the deity consumes the innocent girl. While the narrative veers off course here and there, as a whole, Incantation is a mostly cohesive and kinetic bit of shaky camera scariness that we bet most viewers will thoroughly enjoy. Number 7. Velvet Buzzsaw. From the writer-director of Nightcrawler, Dan Gilroy brings us another otherworldly Jake Gyllenhaal vehicle in the form of Velvet Buzzsaw, an elevated horror flick with wily, satirical undertones. Gyllenhaal plays Morph Vanderwall, an infamously discerning art critic. When Josephina Zwei Ashton, Mort's assistant, stumbles upon a collection of revered paintings by a deceased artist known as Vitril Dietz, Alan Mandel, she brings the works to attention of her employer and an art gallery owner, Gene Russo. But it turns out that Vertil's paintings have a sinister life-after-death agenda, and they unleash supernatural mayhem onto all those who come into contact with the artisan's inspired creations. A funny and gory deep dive into the world of elitist and highbrow art, Velvet Buzzsaw runs off the rails one or two times, but the end result is an ultimately original narrative and an ensemble of excitable roles honed by arresting talents. Number 6. Bird Box. Director Susan Bier's 2018 genre film Bird Box was released the same year as John Krasinski's A Quiet Place, and both films deal with similar narrative threads, primarily a reliance on humanity's keen senses as a means for survival on a near-apocalyptic planet Earth. In Bird Box, the story is about a world devastated by an omnipotently horrific presence that, if witnessed, renders a person insane and forces them into suicide. 5 years after the presence first emerged, Mallory Hayes, Sandra Bullock, who is caring for 2 children, one of which is her own, seeks salvation with the 2 kids, played by Vivian Larry Blair and Julian Edwards. But in order to live, the trio must traverse a destroyed world without their ability to see. Based on the 2014 Josh Millerman novel of the same name, Bird Box presents an engaging concept that branches off into many exciting directions, and Sandra Bullock commands a relatable lead role. It's not a perfect film by any means, but it's definitely immersive and entertaining. Number 5. The Perfection. In co-writer-director Richard Shepard's The Perfection, the pursuit of music in the burning heart of the story, an artistic prediction that the film's cast of characters is forced to reckon with. Allison Williams stars as Charlotte, an esteemed cellist, who had to leave a prestigious music school in Boston to care for her dying mother. Upon returning, she becomes envious of a new student named Lizzie, Logan Browning, and the deep-seated jealousy leads to a loss of vital limbs, among other things. Bold in its visual execution and narrative beats, The Perfection has a wicked agenda, and as an audience member, all we can do is attempt to enjoy the onslaught, a fairly easy feat considering the great tone, pacing, and performance. Number 4. It. On the surface, the town of Derry is just your typical suburban stretch of heaven, but lurking underneath the streets is something far more sinister. In director Andres Muschietti's 2017 film It, the first of a two-part adaptation of the 1,000-plus page Stephen King novel, a collective of outcast preteens, referred to as the Losers Club, are forced to live out the summer of their nightmares when a cosmic shape-shifting clown begins picking off Derry's children. When Georgie Denborough, Jackson Robert Scott, the younger brother of the Losers Club's self-appointed leader, Bill, played by Jaden Martell, is one of Pennywise the Clown's many victims, Bill and his pals take vengeance into their own hands. Transposing an 80s backdrop over the book's original 50s setting, it stands as one of the strongest Stephen King adaptations to date, complete with incredible performances, excellent camera work, and editing. Number 3. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Based on the Alvin Schwartz book series of the same name, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark follows the story of 3 Pennsylvania teens, Stella, Zoe Colletti, Augie, Gabriel Rush, and Chuck, Austin Zager, a group of friends who happen upon an enchanted book in the supposedly haunted Bell Manor, an infamous staple of their hometown. After fleeing the decrepit residence with the Tom, a series of new stories magically begin appearing in the anthology, each featuring one of the teens. As one might guess, these novellas start bleeding off the page into reality as terrors of all shapes and sizes begin to plague the core trio. A loyal homage to its source text, Scary Stories features some great performances as well as some truly horrifying visual effects and makeup for its armada of ghouls. Number 2. The Boy. In the world of horror films, babysitting gigs are ripe targets for inexplicable terrors. In director William Brent Bell's The Boy, Greta, Lauren Cohen, an American woman, answers the call for a babysitting job in a remote English village. Shockingly, the job isn't for a human, it's for a doll. It turns out the couple that employs Greta treats the eerie porcelain family member as their actual child, a coping mechanism for the loss of their son years earlier. When Greta unceremoniously violates some of the couple's strict rules for caring for the unreal family member, a host of paranormal events start unfolding. It may not join the ranks of other classic doll or puppet horror flicks, but with its strong performances and dreadful atmosphere, The Boy is a potent addition to your next horror binge. Number 1. Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight. In Nobody Sleeps in the Woods Tonight, B-movie chills meet modern-day reality-driven horrors when a group of unsuspecting teenagers arrive at a wilderness retreat where ditching phones, tablets, and laptops is the name of the game. Settling into their temporary way of life, it just so happens that an inventive serial killer is stalking the campground, forcing the tech-less heroes to do battle without the aid of their treasured devices. Writer-director Bartosz M. Kowalski serves up some familiar genre fare with Nobody Sleeps. And this brings us to the end of the video. What are your thoughts on today's video? Share with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for amazing movie reviews coming your way. And thank you for watching.